Whoa, whoa, whoa. Damn, I started it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start it. I'll do a little bit, and then I've just got to take a break for a couple of minutes, and I'll come back and finish it off. So this is a 48-minute thing, and usually with my overlay, you know, it could go 2 hours. So if you've got better things to do with your life, do them. Do them. Alrighty. So what are we dealing with? We've got here, this is the third in the series, put together by a guy called Sidney Schneider, the Ask the Atheist dude. 70-year-old dude that spends his time gaslighting people, which is basically psychological bullying. That's what he does. And we're going to see what his update is. You know, what they're trying to do, there's this group of internet bullies. What they're trying to do is frame hello, viewer one. They're trying to frame a story, build a story around me that is a lie, i.e. gaslighting, to cause psychological distress, and to basically bully me out of their way out of the internet. And they're not doing terribly well at the moment. So if you watch all my gaslighting videos, you'll see that every story that they make or invent, when I give my side, I can give evidence for my side. They can't give evidence for their side. And this is typical. That's why we call this sort of stuff delusional behaviors. So these are a bunch of deluded old men, 70-year-old, 50-year-old bloke, probably drinks heaps, a 40-year-old dude who thinks he's Einstein when he's a fucking idiot, I promise you. And that can be proven quite easily. But there's a group of them, and I think probably all in total now, there's a swarm of about 20 of these people. So there's a lot of people that do gaslighting on the internet, and they're not being very successful. So let's see what this is all about. Now, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to take that little break. I'll be back in probably about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll start the video. Because you've got to actually watch their videos to pick up all of the errors that they put together. Because again, remember, they're bullies. They're doing gaslighting. Gaslighting as a foundation tells lies about an underlying truth. And that's designed specifically to cause angst and, you know, it's a psychological attack. Sadistic, cruel behaviors is what it is. Okay, so I shall be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what they're up to.
Hey, James.
Hello.
You all right now?
I was all right before.
I don't think you were, Sunshine.
Why, what's wrong with me?
You weren't very calm. You all right now?
Oh, was I not?
You need to be calm.
Now, what you got here, I hope it's not someone that I think it is, but this guy is trying to gaslight a young. So this is an older person, and he's trying to impose on this other person a state of wellness or being. That's what's actually going on. That is specifically gaslighting. So if this is the dude I think it is, you know, you play with fire, you'll end up getting burnt.
Oh.
My site to have a look at this evidence of gaslighting and what it is consistently carrying on, and prove this precursor. That's me. Because gaslighting is a psychological attack. So we are in the same realm. Then these guys are making admissions to murder, basically.
So I was wondering, there's a heart attack, which basically happens to the heart. There's the pulmonary embolism, isn't it?
Yeah, so what that was, hello viewer number one, what that was, this is I think yesterday or the day before, what they were sitting there saying, they were talking about, because last year I had swelling of the feet, and what they're talking about is how they could potentially kill you. And my position is unproven, so we've got to actually see if it has any legs or not, is that this gaslighting attack that I've suffered for 3 years has been the precursor to going into healthcare. I mean, if they didn't lie, there wouldn't be an issue. That's the fundamental problem. And these boys are pathological lies. So what I, you know, because they're talking about, you know, it could kill, well then I said, and I think I'm quite right actually, well, particularly if I can prove my case, these guys are guilty of murder. And that's the lengths that they'll go through to just win this sort of battle of wits. And this is very much an egoic behavior. So these are pretty sick individuals, I promise you. You just have to observe them for a little while, and a lot of people do. A lot of people sort of observe this and get a bit of a, you know, the giggles out of it. But the victims, you know, it you know, can be some real harm done. But selfish people don't give a shit about that. They just want their bloody entertainment.
And there's obviously the stroke. I mean, you can certainly possibly have a mini stroke.
Well, wave your magic wand. What is it? You could masturbate.
Was it transient ischemic attack and then tear? Mini stroke. I'm sure it's called tear.
So what we've got there is a guy called, I call him Fatty Spazwold. He's a guy that thinks, he reads a lot. Well, he seems to read a lot. You got to be a bit careful with this dude. And his big problem is that he broadcasts as if he's an authority, because he read something or he thought about it, then he becomes the authority. And what he likes to do is he likes to show off to people in the group, given half a chance. So, you know, egotistical. He wants to be the center of attention all the time. Talks like no one's business. So that's Fatty Chaswold.
Sure, it's trends. Like you said a second ago, let's look it up now. You know when you say it, and then you say it, and then you forget it, and it's always taking your time.
Yeah, fuck it. Naughty me.
Transient ischemic attack. That's transient ischemic attack. That's it.
Now the speech goes quickly because, you know, I don't like staying on too long, so anything to make the listen to these pricks shorter is a good thing in my book.
Yeah, it's a mini stroke.
Yeah, Sydney's older than me. He might be liable for it. Well, Bulldog, he's probably and it's not as fit as I am. Because, you know, he drinks a lot and sits on his ass.
So, like,
And he's, yeah, bullfrog. They're having a crack at me for being on the computers for a while. But I'm fine. I'm sleeping well. Bowels are working. Going for walks. Eating. No drama here.
A temporary disruption in the blood supply of the brain.
Fucking as long as I'm able to. Until I die from all these chronic bloody situations I'm confronted with.
I don't know how many, when he's about this bad, it's in the past only been about a few weeks. So you're going to see that hanging out somewhere, just absolutely cussing people out, because that's all he's doing out in the chat box. It's just anger. For aggression. And then you'll start being hanging out with you fucking trolls, you're in a fucking life. I fucking hate you. And all of this sort of stuff. And starts putting up pictures of people.
Nah. Never said I hate people. That's not part of the spiritual journey. What I say is I love all humanity, but I hate egos, is what I hate.
Used to work for him, right? He's fucking cunt. He never did what I fucking told him to.
That's an out and out lie. You filthy, rotten liars as well.
I fucking hate you, Dan. Hey, you're a prick. They're all out to get me. They're all trying to gaslight me. They were.
No, just you guys. I know a gaslighter when I see one.
Forget about that. And then it'll be like about a few days later, and it's like, oh, Rob's not looking very good. You know. And then it's like, a few days after
How would you know? You can't even see me.
that, it's going to say, but he doesn't have a camera. Well, don't even see the actual physical decline, but you'll hear it in his manner.
Bullshit.
When he starts to go, that super manager, he starts to sort of shake and raise his voice, and he's like, you can hear it. It's like he's trying to be really calm but speak very angry at the same time.
Now it's a subtle thing. I don't know whether I mention it here or not, but it's a very subtle thing. Think about it. Think it through. He can't see whether I'm got tremors or not. I don't, but he can't see that. I mean, blind Freddy could say. So that means that he's made that story up in his head. If I had a camera, I could just hold my hand up, hold it steady. Oh, well, and prove that no tremors. So he's building a profile, and this is what gaslighting does. They go to elaborate lengths to build this profile just to try and destroy their victim. It's very animalistic, or very baseline behaviors. And it goes on a lot more than you care to admit, I tell you, not just on the internet. Do that, but it's done deliberately. I do it for effect. What I'm trying to do is demand control, because it's a simple phenomenon. I speak a lot. I say, hang on, and I keep going persistently until I can get them to stop. That moment's pause. But then I can say, that was a lie, and give them the details. Yum.
The voice of the same thing, but he needs to stop coming to class.
The reason he says that is because, they can't beat me. Their whole caper is about, these slimy pedo. So there's a pedophile, or pedo in the ring. His name's John May, Bulldog 101. And you think I'm lying about that? We've got a video that shows this man at work. Yeah, these liars and gaslighters, they're just appalling.
Not a place that he can handle. He doesn't. Unless he adapts, he won't be able to function.
Well, he needs to go somewhere where there's no direction.
Bullshit. It's free will, democracy. I've got equal rights to be here as you do. You're the pricks that are the problem, not me. That's right. I mean, I'm reacting to people that tell lies, and this is the gaslighting phenomenon. That's what they do. They're just out and out bloody pathological lies. And all I'm doing is saying, hang on a minute, that's not the truth. I'm here, I'll tell my story, I'll give my evidence. But to them, it's a game. They want to psychologically wipe the floor with you. And if you put up too much of a fight, they want, because they're cowards, they want to find ways to get rid of you so they can carry on there. So that these filthy, lying, pedo, scumbags, whatever you want to call them, shocking behaviours, sadistic, shocking human beings they are. Absolutely shocking. And more people now are waking up to this. So there's a little bit of a fight back starting. We're getting some really good people that'll stand up to these people. There's a guy called, what is his name? Phantom. Golly gosh. The one thing I've really learned, and this is a really important lesson, never, ever stand down to a bully, ever, ever, never. Because if you do, they go on and bully other people. And these guys have got a whole group of people that they bullied that they now need to apologise. So either they run away or they somehow get rid of me. If they can't, then, I'm going to try my darndest to get these boys to tell the truth and apologise. It's the truth that sets us free. It's unbelievable. The ignorance, too, of these people. Absolute baseline ignorance.
Well, no, he doesn't have anybody anyway for anyone to call in. He basically needs an internet safe space, or he won't be able to function. He needs to wait to avoid all sorts of criticism.
Of course I can function, but I've got to deal with truth and justice first.
Never hear bad words. None of you ever feel like there's any good thoughts. That everybody watching is liking what he's saying.
Well, let me run the hangout and we'll see if that's actually right. Yeah, so this is what I continually do. I mean, the form of these pathological sickos is that they're continually making stories up in their head, and they do a lot of it on the fly. So if we got into a hangout where I had control and I moderated it, I promise you what would happen is that they would flounder. They wouldn't be able to. They'll try and focus on certain things. Hello, viewer number twos. They'll try and focus on certain things that discredit you. But, when you actually ask for the proof, because remember, they're liars. Otherwise, if they're not lying, we don't have a problem. But these guys just spew out lies. Lie after lie after lie. And what's a lie? It's a delusional misrepresentation of the real story. Now, because they pull all this information out of their heads, there's no way that they can have proof. They'll try and connect sort of proofs, or they'll change the story to try and massage it back in. But the bottom line is they won't have proof. And there's a number of ways you can hold them to account, to check if they are telling the truth. Oh, wait. So, if I can get a fairly moderated, goodbye, viewer number two, if I could get a fairly moderated group, and not by them, I have to moderate. And you'll see I'm fair. I'd be a really good moderator. But we've got to have evidence. If you make a claim, you've got to be able to substantiate it. And what would evolve, there's no other way that it'll turn out. What will evolve is that these people will just start to fall down. So any expose on these people, I'm going to always start with the Bulldog pedo video, because he's already made an accusation that he didn't ask young boys to pull their gherkins out online. But the video is very, very specific and very, very clear. He actually did it. Now he's running around trying to cover his ass by saying it was a setup. They were setting us up, so the kids were brought in as a bit of a setup. But to anyone with half a brain looking at that video, they'd see clearly that it had nothing to do with the setup at all. Someone took a video and they just got caught out. Yeah, he says things like, you got a cricket bat up your jumper. So that's a reference to an erection. Now, so we've got to answer that. And then we just progressively work through all of the claims, you know, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Now, the other thing at the moment, the guy is desperately, like we tried to show the video a couple of times in rooms, and he desperately tried to stop us. And, you know, he did, because you can't, hello, viewer number 2, you can't show this pedo video with noise in the background. Otherwise, it sort of gets lost. You've actually got to be quiet, sit down, watch it. So, you know, eventually that's going to be shown again and again and again and again. You know, so wherever he makes an accusation, that video is going to be shown. He says, he didn't say to the boys, pull your gherkins out. He says that never happened. That's actually a 100% lie. So now we've established that the man lies. And as we investigate all his claims, one by one, I promise you, you'll see lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. And the same goes for his colleagues. They do exactly the same thing. Because they think that, you know, they're in the majority, they think they're going to win. But there's no fucking way. It's impossible for them to win. Because why? The stories are lies. They're made up in their minds. And they all make up their own little stories. And then grab onto them and, you know, try and say that's the true story across the group. So now you've got the person that made it up. And then you've got people that just bought into the story. None of them have the evidence to back up their position. None of them. Not once. And if you think that's just me, no, think again. Because there's a friend I've got now, Tom. He's been through the same experience. And with him, you'll see exactly the same form factor. So long as, you know, you got to hold them up. They lay a charge. And see, that's another thing in it. Sorry. Who gives these pricks the right? Who gives these pricks the right to actually lay charges and act as judges? And no one. You know, if you've got a serious sex offender, wouldn't you think that the obvious thing is to call the police? Now, I haven't taken action yet on the online stuff, but yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, gaslighter. Oh, no.
And you sit there and actually pat yourself on the back. There's a problem with that because that will start to escalate it because you'll start enabling a narcissistic idea. And then you'll start wanting to come and have fights again.
Projecting as well.
So when I say projecting, I really mean it. What I mean by that is the guy laying out the accusations is actually guilty of the things that he's accusing the victim. Happens a shitload with these online bullies, online gaslighters.
And people think, I don't want to entertain you because either A, we do cause you to have a psychotic break because you can't handle having a conversation with us. Maybe something.
That's just a flat out lie. I guess because of guilty consciences, I don't really know. Well, I know there's certain observers that will report it accurately, but there are others that don't. You know, they're seemingly good people, but when, you know, they play it down or they just want things to be, you know, the way they were, where they could join in rooms and get their daily dose of drama and, you know, just move on. So it becomes, you know, you get some really interesting roadblocks.
We did do some stuff which was, you know, did take some things too far. I'm not going to excuse any of that behaviour.
That's fizzing, right? He's trying to, and it's ass covering. Those two elements are part of the story. This guy was the biggest nightmare. He was the worst of worst of worst. He masqueraded as this other account, and I didn't pick up who he was. And he just wound you up. So him and a guy called J-Dubs and a guy called Bulldog are the key people that elevated me or got me worked up. That was the precursor to that state of mental health kit. So he is as guilty as sin, this bugger. Terrible human being he is. Bloody little sadist.
Nothing to do with me. But I just heard all about it and watched the drama unfold. But my problem's always been the same thing with Beasley.
Ass cover.
You say some stuff which is incorrect and you can't back it up, and I'm trying to explain to you why and help you sort of adjust your worldview so you can back it up a little bit better. And I'm happy to help you so that when you do quote unquote debate people.
Oh, ass covering. He's not a helpful person at all. If you actually observe his behaviours in the community, you know, he doesn't do anything other than promote himself and try and impress everyone with all of the shit he knows, which he probably Googles and criticises me for using Wikipedia.
You don't end up turning nasty because you don't know what you're talking about, and they start getting a bit miffed by so many things condescending when they're not in the right. And they start to think perhaps you're a bit of a prick, and then they start trying to sort of get a bit further with you because you're being a dickhead. Perhaps maybe because of your condition in certain events you can't handle that sort of discourse. And maybe
I can handle you people with the hands. I can actually handle bloody the whole lot of you. So long as I get to control the room, and I guarantee everyone will get a voice. I'll handle all of us at once.
you come looking for that sort of discourse at the time when you can't handle it the most. And it becomes a kind of endless spiral. Or maybe we don't actually do anything. Our interaction, or even if we didn't interact with your fucking constant attacks and hangouts and fucking spreading shit, calling us all names, and you know.
Again, that's a provable lie. What happens is they produce a video attacking me, gaslighting me, and then I respond to it. And so, just all bullshit. This guy's a chronic liar.
Certainly all the shit about us without any fucking proof, and even proof of the couple contract, man. You don't ever hear or acknowledge any of that fucking stuff. It's always straight back to fucking the original fucking content. It's like every time you see it, it's like he's got memory loss. Like every time you see it, it's the little sort.
Now, if you watch the videos, I don't miss a beat. I remember it all.
But like, it's the last time you saw him when you had a bit of a falling out, you made up since then, and then you got amnesia. So every time you see him, then you end up spending day after day like going, oh, no, remember we got over this, oh yeah, that's right, that's great, I was getting over better. Why did you say that? I mean, that was fucking days ago. That's what it's like, we've got. We had this
projecting, that's what it's like with you.
agreements. He started being a dickhead. I started biting back and calling him names because he was just being disruptive. And
He started it. He actually said rude things about my wife and sleeping with her, all manner of things. He's a fucking, he's a sadistic little man. And he drives his nuts. So anyone who watches this, Spazwold or Shazwold Almighty, as you know, if you ever get into a room with it, don't get in there. Get out. Run away. He's a nightmare. Absolute psychotic nightmare.
it just spirals from there. I don't know if it's like feedback between us and him, or, you know, whether he just can't handle, you know, rational criticism of him and his arguments and the things he comes out with that are fucking insane. Like, imagine
That are insane. Okay. Are you a doctor?
the autisms. That would be the first one. And then he doesn't have bipolar, so he's still taking lithium. Yeah. I just wanted to take it and say so he doesn't need it. But the way he has a mission or anything,
No.
that would be the first one. And then he doesn't have bipolar, so he's still taking lithium.
You guys
Yeah.
call
I just wanted to take it and say so he doesn't need it.
in-house.
But he has a mission or
They
anything.
diagnose
That would be the first one.
I'm in there for 90 days. I battle away to get an appeal, and I eventually get the appeal. And guess what? I win the appeal. And the result of that appeal is I'm a free man again. And I don't have to take lithium if I don't want to. The medical decisions become mine. Again. Simple. But because I don't understand stopping lithium straight away, and I'm being told that there are side effects, I don't act upon that. I leave it to the doctors and I just ask them, can we please get off this lithium? So you've been told 100 times, Spazwell, but you keep lying.
I mean, that's the thing. He'll accept that he's been diagnosed, but he'll say that he's overturned that decision and that he hasn't got bipolar.
Well, it's true. Well, what happened was, the precursor event was the 12 months engaging these people in bullying, just leading up to an episode of sheer frustration. I popped my cork, I guess. That then led to the diagnosis of bipolar. I didn't think I had it. I observed the other people in there and I thought that they were a little bit more off tune, if you like, than I was. I was able to talk lucidly to them. I don't remember, I certainly don't have visions and thoughts of death or all the regular other symptoms. Never had any of that stuff. Oh, hello, viewer number one. So what I did, and I battled, it was a battle, but I got there in the end. I battled to get the appeal hearing and I got it. When I got the appeal hearing, I had a lawyer with me, and then my wife was there, and the docs were there. So the doctor's position was bipolar. Mine was no, I don't think so. And it was in front of two senior psych people and one admin person. And I won. Upon winning, I was free to go home. If I chose to, I could stop taking the lithium, because that's the drug that they treat you with bipolar, or at least in my case they did. Thankfully, it was only one. It didn't seem to have much effect. And yeah, that's what happened, and that's what I'm talking about. These guys, because it doesn't fit so they want me to look, they want to project that I'm nuts, I'm a psycho, I'm, crazy and all the rest of it. Because that's their agenda, and anything that goes against that makes them, challenges or projects that they're actually lying and they're maliciously lying. So they have to keep pumping out all of this bullshit. Now, so we can stop this discussion right now with these people and just say, all right, where's the evidence, or how did you come up with that conclusion, right? And you'll get a whole plethora of responses, but what you won't get is ringing and getting evidence and information from the hospital, which they wouldn't get anyway, because that'd be against privacy. So there's no way they could have had an informed. So what happened then? Well, they made the story up in their head. That's gaslighting, and they're doing it deliberately to confound their victim. Cruel, 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 sadistic people. That's what's going on here.
Well, would they let you go home?
Oh, there we go. This is me.
And say to you that you don't have to take lithium, you're under your own medical code, if the classification was bipolar? No. You'd be still treated. You idiot.
Do you know anyone who's been in a bigger denial about something like that?
Yeah, heaps of them. You fucking lost for a start.
Trying to think. See, I talked to some people who were delusional schizophrenics, and they're a lot even easier to talk to than Beasley. I talked to some people I talked to one guy who was schizophrenic, right?
So what he's trying to do here, right, because I've given the true story of the condition, he's got to make up another story. I even wonder whether he spoke to, these other people. Who were they? And then he'll say, oh, that's confidential, can't tell you. Well, hang on, you've made an accusation against someone that they're nuts. You're not qualified to make that call, so there must be some other basis for you making that call. What is it? Where's your bloody information? You lying snake in the grass.
I kind of think you guys are schizo, but I'm not an expert. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got to say, I don't know if there's a diagnosis. I think narcissism, maybe, bullying, whatever that's thing. But to me, if what I've got is a mental health issue, then what they've got is a far worse mental health issue, because my thing, I don't harm anyone, right? Well, all I do is I say, well, hang on, you've lied, you bastards, tell the truth. What they do, though, is, and we've got video evidence of this, they vigorously hunt in packs and then torment people, you know, with this psychological abuse. That's what they do. That's worse. So they have that persona, and then they have perhaps a normal sort of home life persona. So now we've got two characteristics. Isn't that like schizophrenia or some sort of Jekyll and Hyde mentality? Jekyll and Hyde, I like that.
But you seem to have this dual reality.
Oh, there we go.
You
Yeah.
have this bullshit one that you create when you're gaslighting. And then when you're not gaslighting, you sort of become half normal people. Until someone upsets your little egos, then the demons come out.
Yeah, no, schizophrenic. And he thought that the Earth rotated around two suns in a figure eight. And I tried to point out that at certain times of the year, it would be daylight on both sides.
So this is the idiot sort of showing his brain off. I'm not going to bother listening to it to see if he actually has thought this through. Usually, he's very bombastic, and no one challenges him because of his behavior, and then he just keeps fucking doing it. So he might be guilty of actually misinforming others, which is another serious problem.
And he didn't seem to get how that happened, and I sort of explained to him. He realised that would be the case, but then still sort of kind of bothered.
He's not posing again.
And because of a lens flare incident on the rover, there was a transmission error.
Oh no! Shut up!
I got overlaid. It looked like in this great image that there was two suns, but it was one sun being picked twice at the same time. And but he took that to be testing, and he also thought the Earth was round, but it was hollow on the inside, and on the inside lived dinosaurs. I can't remember his name. It was somebody who I met through Gay Dave, with a guy from Australia. Do you remember him? David Harrison, I think his name was. Yeah, somebody he knew and he was in a hangout, and he thought that the Earth was hollow, dinosaurs living there, and then I asked him, "Are there plants in there for his dinosaurs to eat?" And he was like, "Yes." I was like, if that's the case, where the plants get sun?
Blah, 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 blah.
In this internal garden of dinosaur eater was the gates of hell.
Everyone's getting bored and dozing off to sleep. That was Bartholomew Matthew, I think, or something like that. He's a guy that I challenged to an online live debate. So that'll be interesting. But I'll only conduct it in my house, and it'll be done fairly. But I suspect he's a coward and he won't come in, from what I've seen of him, unless I've misread the play.
And this is what people eat.
Getting boring.
And I kind of spotted Joe when he started talking to other people listening. That website was something. It was quite funny to hear somebody say these things. But I kind of think. I don't want to sound very. Is it not possible that these things you believe might be wrong, but you believe them as you do because of this disorder? And he can accept that. Rob Beasley's even worse, because he won't accept his illness.
Yeah, but hang on a minute, Spazwold. Even though I don't accept it, and I'm pretty confident that I might be just right, I still follow the doctor's orders. And when I assume, let's say I have bipolar, as far as I can tell, I'm as normal as I would without this lithium, and I take it regularly. So, where's your problem? And what's the basis for your concern? He'll say, oh, the way you behave. And I'll say, all right, let's talk about it. What evidence have you got? And then he'll do his song and dance. That's the thing about these bullies. Once you work them out, they're extremely predictable. And I don't just mean one, the whole freaking lot of them.
No, I dispute it, but I'm doing what someone diagnosed with it should do. I'm taking the medication. So if I'm wrong,
Hey, viewer
I'm
number
still
one.
okay because I'm stable. Of course, you people try and profile something else, but because you're gaslighters. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, taking the medication every night because I don't know the impacts of stopping it, and I'm not prepared to take that chance. So unfortunately, and see, that's another outcome. You've not only caused me these stays in mental health care, you've actually left me with a legacy of this medication potentially for life. And I forgot what I was going to say, but you've caused a whole heap of harm. You're shocking, sadistic, cruel people. And it's just a game to you. You don't want to be beaten, you fucking egotistical pricks.
And then he'll try and be like, oh, well, they diagnosed me with that, but really it's just that I was stressed out due to the trolls. But I'm unshakable. The trolls can't move me. He said,
That's true.
in his second, he didn't like this second return.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't you boys that got rid of me. Yeah.
Really? On Rob Beasley Strikes Back. Because obviously you had Rob Beasley and New Hope. Yeah, the first time. Rob Beasley Strikes Back. And now we've got Return of the Two Wolves. Wow. Yeah, it is. It's like the Star Wars saga as well. There's a good and a bad, like the dark side. What's being bullied by the Imperial Troll Army?
Correct. I prefer to call you gaslighters, though.
Dark Dog.
Did you say daft? As in daft? Well, look, I like that. That works.
Emperor Spazwold.
That works too, because although I'll go with Spazwold, World Almighty. I'll go with that. But the Emperor title fits because you really think that you're a freaking mini king of the world.
Who do you think he thinks he is? Do you think he thinks he's Rob Skywalker, or do you think he thinks he's Rob Solo? Do you think he thinks he's Han Solo, or do you think he's Luke?
Wouldn't have a clue.
I think he thinks he's Luke.
Don't know. I didn't watch it.
You think he thinks? Yeah, I possibly think he thinks he's or Obi-Wan. Old Beasley Kenobi. Luke, touch yourself, you must be trying to lay
Hang on.
That's me pausing to
Okay.
do something.
It was just a social experiment.
Didn't somebody use that? No. Remember, it was also about support for someone that was being kicked in the guts by the bully pack. No pedo. Looking at ladies' boobs is not pedophilia. Mature age ladies. And nothing happened. They were in full control, and new boys were sitting in the background watching. And we've gone through the young boy stuff you know, the sex ed talk. We know it's only a couple of sentences, and it was preceded by finding out whether the kid knew about true love, and he did. And it was just explore each other's bodies. That was the advice. That's all. And because I realised that should have been his father doing that, I decided I'm not going to do that again. Again.
I don't know pedo trial. I don't know if it was, I don't never heard one about pedo trial, so there might be. But there was a guy called Sam Pepper, who was a YouTuber who did sort of pranks and social experiment videos.
Boring.
It's like fake hands. Like, and he was hanging out his hand and he'd grab it. That's why college has this kind of manic channel 4 news because of it. I fucking know. What's her face one with a tit?
That's no way to talk about a lady. Pot calling the kettle black.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
But anyway, we covered that a million times.
But he's basically, you know, whilst he still gets quite a lot of views, he's thoroughly branded by the social fucking media. Because all of the big ones like BuzzFeed and the big channels like What's Her Face became really big. She's even on fucking Channel 4 News because of it. That fucking What's Her Face one with a tit. Nancy Green.
Now, you've heard the charges these guys are labelling at me. Yet, when the tables are turned and we actually expose some pedophile behaviour with young boys, and we give them a video to show the clear behaviour and the clear age of the young boys. These boys, you know, so it's 15, I think, was the age. Could be 14, who knows, but definitely 15, not any older. And, you know, this pedo gaslighter dude, John May, he it's inappropriate behaviour. These guys, you know what they do? They see the video and it's plain as the nose on your face. I've asked, you know, a number of people, what age do you think that boy is? You know what these bloody dirty, filthy, old, decrepit men do? They say the kid's 18, as if it's okay. Oh, unbelievable. Talk about calling the pot calling the kettle black.
She's on about Sex Plus. She became semi-famous back a few years back because she handed over the Amazing Atheist. She made a video where the camera was basically facing down on her. She was wearing a top shirt, a bit of cleavage. She was playing like the sad crying girl that she had been.
What? You're looking at boobs?
Attacked by the Amazing.
Oh my goodness!
8 years and all this sort of stuff. Basically, what happened was she tried to call out the for this argument he had with this girl, where basically it was a pony video, so a lot of it is sort of like humor and comedy stuff. And he called her a stiff with tits, and it was a response to something she said about him. And you know, Nancy Green was trying to.
And karma's real. You'll get yours.
It gives you all the answers without having to really sort of deal with the tough questions, which is what Rob Beasley's telling us to do. Because with Rob Beasley, I think we've got no category of good or bad. The Rob Beasley has to leave the answer of.
No. I'm not survival instinct, you idiot. The arbiter is these instincts. And karma's real. You'll get yours.
And he does this purely from his senses. Now, no way does he think about his senses. So he's not describing that basically he has a knee-jerk reaction to everything that he sees, without any form of critical rationality or any behaviour that he does, which is pretty much a sign you're fucking crazy. Or Rob Beasley clearly doesn't understand how the brain works.
Yeah, I do.
And it's just typical of something like religion. It comes along to be a philosophical snake oil.
Nah, It actually maps perfectly the religious and spiritual doctrine. Well, the ones that are correct.
Doesn't actually conform to reality. Only the most delusional people would ever fucking get to it.
Spaswold, you ever heard of, there's a golden rule in spirituality. It's called love thy neighbour. Love thy neighbour. The Jesus teachings that were rejected by the church have that in their doctrine, and the two wolf stories from the Cherokee Nation has that in its story. So there's two examples of where it connects. But you, just because you set me as a victim, just produce any shit you like straight off the top of your head to try and refute that premise. I've asked you 1,000 freaking times, tell me about the third survival strategy. Because old Spaswold says there's many, many, many survival strategies in nature. And then when he realizes his mistake, he says, will you define survival strategies? No, get stuffed. It's pretty obvious. I gave him 2 examples. They're the only 2 that exist. Idiot. Small-minded, bloody empire-headed fool is that dude.
They keep having far worse problems than fucking magical than they fucking believe in. What's that?
Here we go. Ask, cover, and move again. These blokes don't give a shit about anyone but themselves or their own.
No, it's that. Watching this account go out each and every time. I mean, it's sad. Watching somebody's got himself so worked up.
I ain't worked up. I'm actually entertained by this. Well, not only am I entertained, but I'm also engaged. I just find this, you know, like I worked out the spiritual reality, how that function works in humans. And you guys are just giving me all, it's like manna from heaven. Now, heaven doesn't exist, viewer. But it's like that. I mean, this is just so rich in terms of proving exactly what I say when I talk about what the spiritual reality for humans is. Fantastic. So no, I'm not stressing out. Going really well.
It would be like you're so entrenched in that week politics. Go and reading, you know, the 25 things that Rob said today piss me off. It's just trying to make yourself miserable. So I don't know if we can really blame Benny too much for being an enabler. Maybe Rob was always
There's that coughing again. That's a hallmark of wires.
Ben wasn't that. I think Rob might.
I don't know whether I say it here, but the other hallmark is when people touch the face. You know, that's a sign that they're unsure of what they're speaking about.
But generally he'll come back and he has another manic episode. He would come back anyway. And I think maybe it could be possible that Rob sits there and has a manic episode. And that inspires him to come on the internet and start all these fights again. And it's not us escalating his manic episode. He could escalate his manic episode. We're just along for the ride.
What I did is I came back to the internet and I reconnected with these people, but I didn't initiate anything. It just started all over again. Rob's back, and actually it was them that tried to get me in, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then
Yeah, it's a guy called Benny the Gangster. I call him Romo the Prankster nowadays. You know, what he does is Benny. He's probably one of the lowest of the lows, because what he does, he sort of gets in under your guard and he becomes a friend, and he invests a lot of time in that effort. Yeah, so you know, so I thought he was I knew that he was mischievous, right? So he's like a good person, but he's like a good person, but there's a devil in him. And what he would do, he'd set me up time and time again. He's still doing it now. Very cunning. He's very intelligent, I guess. But now that I know his form, I know for sure, I have no doubt, I know exactly how to react to him. So if you ever get gaslit or under attack, the things to watch for are people sort of telling lies about you, about your story, that get you a little worked up. If you ever see that story, stop them dead in their tracks and say, are you gaslighting me? If they keep trying to do the same thing, where's your evidence? Just remain, it's a little difficult, but remain composed and just say, where's your evidence? And don't let them talk about anything else. Do anything you can to stop them having the conversation on that. Make sure that you say, where's your evidence? You're gaslighting me. And then beyond that, watch for people that sort of seem to flick personas. So 1 minute they're your enemy, next minute they're your friend. Watch those people carefully and do not give them any information that could, be used against you. Yeah. Anyway, you'll learn if you come across them.
No.
May as well give them a thumbs down while I'm at it. We're just waiting for these guys. I don't know what's going on here, whether it was me that had it.
When you people do your stuff, because I don't take, if you lie at me, I'm going to react. And that's really the gaslight. So hang on. Yeah, so what happened was this Benny guy that I could trust continually tried to get me into the hangouts, and I wouldn't go. Cheating, lying, little Romanian so and so.
It's safe. It's a He's actually in hanging out one thing. He's in the one that was transmitting. When he's transmitting. He's talking to someone after saying quite out to the conversation. Then there's Rob, a guy called Maybe stands to answer a podcast.
So another characteristic of these gaslighting attacks is that they'll stream, and this is what this Benny dude would do. We'd set up a hangout, right? Just him and I, and it'd be off the air, so you'd feel that you could, talk naturally. But the little prick would actually stream that video back out and keep a record of it. So, he's a bad news dude. He's a lovable little character, but he's a real, if you ever come across him, my advice to you would be don't spend any time with him. He's a real piece of shit, really, at the end of the day, for what he does. So, just be careful. Be careful of those people that are nice to you and at the same time nasty to you. You find yourself saying, what happened? What just happened? Or you'll go to, hey, give us your support. Hey, give us your support. And all of a sudden they won't. And you're sort of thinking, what just happened? Well, the answer is it's an egotistical little prick who likes playing games.
Yeah, they won't cover that, or they won't do that, where you have grown adults having a normal conversation. They won't reject that part of the gaslight.
They just know what it means to be a human, know the instincts. So you know what true love is, so you've got that now. I know that. You know what true joy is, right? I know that. You lose the fear of death. I think you've got that. No. Yeah. You love all things. You don't do anything. You've got that now.
Yeah, this gets interesting. You've got me talking and them listening. Then you've got me, because they make them live, right? So me reporting on what's going on, because they've got an agenda to gaslight. And now you got me reporting against that. So we're down to being about 3 deep. So I hope it's not too confusing. Oh, I was talking, what I was talking about there, I was talking to a dude about enlightenment. So I really, with strong conviction, think that I'm enlightened and I know exactly what that phenomenon is and how it functions. Yeah, you can choose to believe me or not, but hang around me long enough, you'll start to see that I kind of know stuff. I'm very good at reading the play. Yeah, you're still, being enlightened doesn't mean you don't get sucked in. Trust is still something that you have to rely on to a certain degree anyway. Oh, but hello, viewer number 2. But if you're a gaslighter, trust is no longer an issue for me. I take things as I read them. So I have no time for anyone else's information. I make my own calls. If you want to convince me of something else, you have to give me a lot of evidence. So I say to them that I'm at 100%, which means basically I just don't take any crap at all. And if I decide that you're just a time waste, I'll piss you off. I won't deal with you at all. But, if you've told a lie about me, I'm going to still be in your face, urging you to tell the truth. That's the only, and that's the other thing. So if I'm at 100%, that's the only thing I'll settle for. What's telling the truth? Well, it's a live broadcast of what you actually did. I will settle for nothing less. Now, you'll either give it to me or I'll convince other people, not through persuasion, but through evidence, that you are despicable, nasty, cruel human beings. So we start, on all occasions, we'll start with the pedo file, and then we'll just work through everything, one step at a time. And I promise you, you boys are going to be exposed. There's nowhere for you to hide, you rock spiders.
Yeah, so what we're talking about here is true spirituality and the signatures of someone that's moving towards enlightenment. This guy, Tom, School of Hard Knocks, made some boobs along the way, but he's pulling his socks up and he's moving away from that, and he's really doing extremely well. These guys, and look this up on the web, it's there, Tom versus the haters. These haters, which is this crew, these guys, the ones we're talking about now, all go in there and basically assault him and attack him and, make fun of the fact that he was he used drugs, and, they speak in a present context that he's a drug taker and he's a thief. But he's not. He's actually doing extremely well. So, I'm just confirming how well he's progressed spiritually. And then what do I get into next? Hang on.
Would be more listenable. So this is what the gaslighters have flashed up on screen. Would be more listenable to if Rob spoke at a lot more rather than listen to 1.5 speed. Well, that's a reasonable observation. I don't mind that. So, the guy's just making a comment, but I disagree with it, in terms of the context. they're putting out so much material, and I don't want to miss it, because every time they put something out, it's like, again, manna from heaven. But I speed the bloody audio up, or the tape up, so I can get through it a little bit quicker. I don't spend as much time. That's all. And, you know, we can hear. I mean, you could probably get a better quality, but, you know, I've got a shitload of evidence on these dudes, so I don't need anything else. I just need, see, I'll stop it and I'll clarify what the point is to the audience. So stick it up your jumper. I'm 100%, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Yeah. So what I'm saying, and this is what I do, you know, when these bullies do, you know, they say all manner of terrible things, you know, about me, about the family, about the wife, what they do to the wife, all this sort of shit to get you all worked up. When you notice a person with an egoic problem, and unfortunately this is bloody a lot of us, when you do, it's okay, well, in my opinion, to actually have a crack back at their ego. And when I do, it usually relates to reality in some way. So, for example, as almighty, and I emphasize the mighty, and then I say, you know, like, it relates to all of the people through history that had the name the Great. That's a real problem and a real ego signature. And so I give him as good as he gets, but it's very targeted at his ego. So it's not aimed at hurting the person, but it is aimed at, you know, annoying this ego. But give their ego, Henry. And then let their ego. Yeah. So if you're thinking doing things that he's an aspirin, that's the problem. Because look this way, right? You've got to keep this right there. I cranked it up, I think, to two times speed. So this might be going a little fast. I've probably got enough here. Well, I was trying to kind of hope to hear these clowns, the gaslighters, come on and see what their thoughts on things. And then, you know, when they, because of the nature of the piece, everything that comes out of their mouth relating to me is a lie. It just gives me more information on them. And, you know, let's see what happens. What I might do. All right, that's enough of that shit. Now, there's one last bit of details that I need to put up. Now, I don't know how well that's coming through. There we go. I'll just get rid of that. Go away, you. And we'll blow this up a little. All right. So this is where Bulldog, the pedo guy, Bulldog 101, you know, the boy, the guy, and he says, you know, and we've got that on tape. He says in front of a whole group of people, "No, I didn't." We asked him, we said, "Did you ask two boys that are underage to pull their penises out on the internet?" And he said, no, I didn't. Yeah, bullshit. And then he went into a rant. He's being really crazy today. And he just kept yabbering. And so we've got that on video. So we got him on a lie. But these things here that are on the screen, you can't read them. I know that, but they're in my collection. basically what they're doing, and I don't know what it is at the moment. He's talking about this big plan for me, some big plan that they're cooking up. And it's all going to happen apparently on Tuesday. So that's designed, that's a psychological attack as well. That's designed to get you anxious about this. But I couldn't give a fuck. I mean, whatever they do, I've got no control over it. So if I've got no control over it, I just don't worry about it. But that's what they get up to, these clans. And, you know, we're talking about 50-something old blokes that drink a lot and sit in front of the computer a lot that, you know, ask young boys to pull their penises out online. They're a weird lot, an absolute strategy. But I think I know exactly why, and it tacks back to the ego. What I don't know is what set that ego off. What instance in their life turned on the monster button? I'm sure it's there, because good folks don't do these things because they have a good life. They have loving parents. There's no major trauma in their life. So these guys must have been dropped on their head or something when they were younger.
It's just a...
do it. Police should do it. So Rob, you think that...
Here we go. The Mr. Sydney Schneider, the rock spider. Let's see what he's got to say.
Well, you know, if we could grab that guy, take him down to the fucking jailhouse and smack him around with the phone book a bit, we could actually find out who these others are, but I already know who they are. So it's an admission of the fact that, you know, there's a group of people that are making plans against...
Rob, you were just planning.
Hang on. I know it. Let's see if I'm right here, right? I haven't heard this before, I promise you. I wonder if he's going to sort of spring the old paranoia line. Now, you heard me speak before. I don't give a fuck about this stuff. And I'm sincere, I don't. Oh, all right. So let's see if that's the rabbit he pulls out of his hat.
You just announced that you were planning on committing violence.
Oh, sorry, I got it wrong. I'm committing violence? Oh, he's referring to taking the guy down to get it out of him. No, not me, you idiot. The police. That's taking down to the police station. I'm not violent.
People, you're actually condoning it, that you would do it. Police should do it.
Yeah.
So Rob, you think that we should all be arrested by the police and bunked around, smashed around with phone books, huh?
Well, when I was a kid, it actually happened, Sydney, believe it or not. When I was a kid, a bunch of us were out, and so what would I be? Maybe 15, 16? And we're hanging around the streets, and the police grabbed us and took us down to the station and wanted to find out what we were up to. And the bloody copper hit me in the stomach with the thing, but I wouldn't give up my friends. I just wouldn't. He probably would have had to kill me. And, well, of course, if I'm dead, he's not going to get out of me. But Sydney, I know for a fact that that's what police officers used to do. So I'm just using that as a reference. I'm not saying that they still do it. I'll bet there'll be instances of it, but that's all, Sydney.
And that'll make you happy?
Well, yes, Sydney, and I'll tell you why. Because I'll have you people confessing to the truth. That's the only thing I want from this exercise. I just simply want you people to tell the truth. I don't want to try you or judge you. Although, sorry, the gaslighting thing, if I can find a way to promote that as a crime, I'll damn well do it, but I don't know whether that's possible. But again, if you tell the truth, to me, and it's sincere, 100%. I'm done and dusted. I'm happy as Larry. And I promise you this, although it'll be a hard thing, you can't handle the truth. Although it'll be a tough thing, you'll actually come out of it the better for it. And Sydney, you're 70 years old. Tick tock, time's nearly up, and you don't get to come back. Well, I meant to ask you, you know, as a Satanist, if that's not a joke, I don't think it's real, but if you were a Satanist, do you get to go to hell? Is that your reward? Doesn't sound like a good club to me.
Right. So it's an admission, this gaslighting.
Oh, sorry. Down there on his page, this is Sydney Winston. I think his real name is Sydney Schneider, the spider. But there on his icon is these 9 satanic rules. Now, it could be just a scam. It could be just a good old Jewish boy. But he's, you know, a lot of question marks around old Schneider.
This internet bullying is going on. So now this other dude is trying to be nice. So he says, okay, cool, Rob, I understand Bulldog and you don't get along so well, but don't be afraid to join if he's not there, though. So he's still trying to get me into the room to, I don't know, probably tell me something that I may not want to hear. Well, fuck him. I don't give a shit. I'm not coming into your stupid room. That's okay, but the plans will still go ahead. Did you see how he ran from Godless? She was destroying him. That's actually not true. I actually got that girl to shut up for a minute, which was, I thought, whoa, I'm really getting the hang of this. And maybe she's beginning to think, which would be a good thing. So I just said, can hardly wait. You know, this is in response to the plans that they're talking about. Will I show the pedophiles?
So what I'm saying to them, and I mean it 100%, anything that happens to me, the first thing that I'm going to do is ask whoever to have a look at these pedophiles. And I've told Sandra as well to make sure that that's where we start assessing the accuser.
If whatever it is they plan, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show whoever or whatever.
Oh, I'm repeating myself. But that's me. When you listen to me, I say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. When you listen to these guys, it's variable. It changes. Particularly as some evidence comes on the table. They quickly switch the story.
I'm going to show them this video to say that the people that are actually trying to gaslight me and bully me actually ain't that good people. You know, they're not, you wouldn't put them on a jury. So that's that. All right, so will I show the pedophiles? So the pedophiles is this John May character, Bulldog 101, asking young boys to pull their penises out online and on a live feed. So, you know, other people could have seen it. The boys didn't do it, but nonetheless, you know, it's pedo thing. And if you think that it's a joke, watch the video after you see the behaviours. He goes through the fucking roof because he got caught, dirty old man. And I've seen him in other videos where he talks about, you know, homosexual stuff, you know. He's a weird cat, I promise you. Alrighty, there we go. Oh, I'm going to post this on my wall. I'll just take a screenshot and then that'll be that. Happy days.
Oh, Sydney. I think I need to get you on fucking copyright, you silly old fool. You didn't put any of your own content in. What a waste. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good to see it all there. Thank you for coming along, viewers. That's the end of the show. I really, really must go. I'm a poet and I don't know it. Now, stop broadcast. No, stop that.